Hi, this is Zach, and for the last 2 weeks I've been messing with PhysX by Nvidia, and specifically the cloth implementation piece, and I wanted to take you through a tour of the stuff that I've built out so far and how it's working. The first thing that I'll show you is what I call the cloth vertice painter, and for every object that you want to use for clothing, you need to define which vertices are simulated and which vertices are static. And here I've imported this cloth from the Nvidia sample package, and by default I have selected all of the duplicate vertices and set them as red. So the red boxes here, those represent vertices that are weighted to 0, which means they won't be simulated, and the blue are vertices which are weighted to 1, which means they will be simulated. Green just means that a vertex is selected. So here I would probably make sure that all of those are weighted to 0. And the reason why right now that I'm automatically selecting these when I load the model is that duplicate vertices are problematic. So in Shiva, the normals and the UVs get added to the vertice pool, and there's not really a way for me to distinguish between those. And so my workaround right now is to just not simulate them, and it has made things much easier. So when you're all done here, you hit save, and I export this. This is what it looks like. It's just this array of data, and I just dump that straight into Shiva code and use that to initialize my cloth object. The second piece here is what I call the collision generator, and this is how you know, if you're putting a cape on this character, you want to define where the collision boundaries are so that the cloth can interact with it. And so what this lets you do in PhysX, their cloth simulation, they let you define spheres, 2 spheres, and then those 2 spheres form a capsule. And so your spheres can actually be different sizes. So here's this guy. I can make him bigger if I want to. And then it'll make a tapered capsule with the sphere down below. And so I've just gone through, and for each bone that I'm interested in, I've created these collision capsules just so that the cloth has something to collide with. And as a note, trying to approximate using spheres on a square character, the results aren't very good. I mean, if I wanted to cover the head, I'd have to make a huge sphere, so it wouldn't look very good in the simulation. So I'll just say that. So when you save this, it again comes out as really just a huge array, bone name, XYZ and local coordinates, and the radius, and then XYZ and radius for the second sphere. That's all that is. So when you pull it all in to a project, it looks like this. And here I just have the Boxman. This is the iPhone controller example. Boxman has a cape on and a pretty ghetto headband, and I'll show you why here. This is the visual debugger that Nvidia gives you, and so you can see, like, this is my headband, but I actually don't have any collision shape for the head, and so there's nothing for it to really interact with. It's just kind of floating there as a test. And then you can see the capsules that I've defined. You know, here's his right arm, capsule 1, or sphere 1, sphere 2, and that forms a capsule. And you can see that, you know, he's following the animation of the character. And here, you know, we'll make him move around. You can see the cloth actually does kind of what you'd expect. I have the inertia set fairly low on the cloth right now. There's so many cloth parameters that you can use to tweak this thing. It's completely ridiculous. I think I've spent more time tweaking cloth parameters than I have on the entire implementation. And let's see, spacebar. Spacebar adds wind, so I'm applying a wind to it, letting off. It's pretty cool so far, and at some point, um, when I get the bugs out, maybe other people can mess around with it too. Thanks.